The late 1990s in North India carried a specific weight. In the dusty, red brick corridors of the Government Engineering College, the air was thick with the scent of chalk and chemical experiments. This was an era before smartphones, before instant digital confessions, where feelings lived in the spaces between words. Rahi arrived at the campus clutching a weathered steel trunk, his eyes fixed on a future he hoped to build with his own two hands. On his first day, he stood outside the chemical engineering department as a warm August breeze whipped loose papers around his feet. Then he saw Mani. She stood there, clutching a thick practical file, her presence quiet and steady. In that moment, Rahi felt the surrounding noise of orientation fade into a strange, heavy silence. The world slowed down. He did not know her name yet, but he knew his life had just changed forever. They belonged to different academic sections, but the campus became a stage for their unspoken connection. Every day was a choreographed dance of glances. In the dim light of the library, he handed her a mass transfer reference book. She offered a brief, sincere smile in return that fueled his heart for weeks. During a tense process control lab, he reached over to fix her pressure gauge, their hands brushing for a fleeting second. Neither spoke, but the electricity was undeniable. At the technical fest, he watched from the shadows as she accepted her award, his applause lost in the crowd, yet his eyes never left her. As the years wore on, they became masters of observation. Rahi tracked the way she nervously adjusted her dupatta before a presentation, and Mani learned to scan the cafeteria for his face before choosing a seat. They lived in a culture where reputation was fragile and silence was the safest harbor. Their love existed in the margins. He celebrated her birthdays in the solitude of his hostel room with smuggled samosas and a single candle, wishing her well from a distance. She, in turn, watched for his name on the results board with a quiet intensity, her heart racing until she found him. But the final year arrived like a sudden storm, bringing the cold pressure of placements and the inevitable scattering of friends. The dream was ending when Rahi secured a job in Pune and Mani in another distant city. The physical distance between them grew tangible. The map of their future was being drawn, and they were in different corners. The final industrial visit was their last chance to bridge the gap before the world pulled them apart for good. The bus ride back from the industrial visit was a journey through the twilight of their youth. Outside the window, the sunset cast long, amber shadows across the vinyl seats. Rahi sat beside her, the proximity overwhelming. His heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird. The engine's low hum and the rhythmic vibration of the bus acted as both a sanctuary and a prison. He watched the college gate draw closer with every turn of the wheel, each kilometer stealing a piece of his courage. He looked at her profile, illuminated by the dying light, and realized that if he didn't speak now, he would be screaming into the void for the rest of his life. With mere minutes left, he forced the words out. His voice was a tremor in the stillness, barely audible over the wind. "Mani, I love you." The air seemed to freeze. She turned to him, her eyes wide and searching, holding the weight of 4 years of missed moments, shared glances, and silent prayers. Her breath hitched. The world hung on a precipice. Then, she whispered, "Pardon, please." It wasn't a rejection. It was a plea for clarity, a fragile bridge offered in the darkness. But Rahi was terrified, his courage shattered like glass. Instead of repeating the truth, he looked at the floor as the bus rolled through the campus gates. The bustle of students returning, the shouting and the dragging of bags drowned out their world. They parted in the chaotic crowd, exchanging no further words, the bridge collapsing before it was ever crossed. 25 years have passed. Rahi lives an ordinary life, but in the quiet of the night, he still hears the engine of that bus. He still hears the soft, trembling plea of her voice. He wonders if she ever waited for him to speak again, trapped forever in the space between a confession and a question that was never answered. Some silences never end.